I am becoming a massive producer of industry goods. I'm the 4th largest producer now. I'm currently exporting a lot because I'm not building a lot because, you know, we had the whole rubber situation. I need more coal. Or more coal mines. We'll see what that does. That uses most of my industry goods, yeah. But I'm doing much better on industry goods, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, that's good.
I'll even go ahead and build more industry goods factories because the better I do, well, you know, the better. Well, Germany's not even making enough military goods. They should probably fix that. Because when war breaks out, they could, if the world runs out of bullets, you know, could run into a situation there.
Just like it did before.
Just like it did before. My amount of oil usage has just been going up and up and up, and I have not been making more. Apparently I missed some spots where I could put some. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. How the hell I missed this? Oh, because it was already like an industrial complex. I can get 2 more oil gas fields in, but I need a lot more oil. And I still haven't really, you know, bothered with Libya or anything yet. Because I'll probably annex them to do it, but I've just been paying more attention to my treaty integrity right now and what the world thinks about me.
Yeah, all your constant warmongering has made that quite obvious.
Yeah, and build more coal. I'm going to stop caring about overlapping with timber just because timber is so abundant anyway. And my economy is down to a much, quote-unquote, healthier point.
Oh, mine too. It's actually finally stabilized.
Yeah, mine's stable around 6.5%, even with me building an ass load of stuff. I know why my oil's going up. It's not just my population. It's all this fucking industry goods I'm making. I'm just fitting these factories in wherever they go. I wish I had more loyal territory to build them, honestly. Also gonna get rid of my sea pier on Sardinia. I'm gonna upgrade that to a seaport. I think I'll actually build it 1 tile over too. Yeah, fuck it. I guess I'll do it like this. Wouldn't be an unproductive thing to do. I hate how tiny our bars are. I used to have 3 ticks on the bar. 3 ticks! It's all Germany's fault. All Germany's fault. It's 100% Germany's fault. France is down to 1 tick on the bar too, which I don't understand at all. Britain and Russia are still up there. The US is still up there. China's got 2 ticks still. Japan's really up there. Oh. I think Japan has actually built a lot of land production while I wasn't looking. Now, they didn't have anywhere near this much production. Yeah, dude. They have 8 land production and 4 naval. I don't remember what they started with, but I know it wasn't this good.
Wow, they're moving their troops out of the pier? That wasn't smart of them.
It really wasn't smart of them. The war has begun. I support. Oh my god, there's so many. Oh my god! Jesus fucking Christ. They don't stand a chance! Oh no, the rails are speeding this up so much, it's hilarious. Oh, say goodbye. Say goodnight. Good night, sweet prince! And yeah, their capital's gone. You're just pouring in. Doesn't matter. Yep. Well, now all you really have to do is mop up.
Yep, pretty much.
The actual battle itself is pretty much won. They moved their new capital up north to some place that sounds like some sort of Asian noodle meal.
Funny.
They still have units and they're sending them, but they're all like shitty infantry. Make sure to give yourself some garrisons over there, just to stop them from sniping anything, because they do have units. And then you'll be able to get your own rubber, export that, fuel the world's warmongering. Oh, poor Siam. 20,000 of them have already died. Your war has been going swimmingly, I see.
Yes, that it has.
Just, you know, the slow walk. Why do you... Is that a tank? You have a tank. You have tanks in a jungle. World War I tanks in a jungle. I see you went with the expensive tank. I went with the cheaper tank that has more range. You know what's the perfect thing to eat while playing SRU? Or anything? A sloppy joe.
I haven't had one of those in God knows how long. Years and years.
Makes it very easy to touch your keyboard and mouse. Good thing you can play this game one-handed.
And there's the capital.
The next capital, you mean? You just fucking went right for it. Well, I'm taking Libya. Mine now.
Oh, nice.
It's mine now.
Finally annexed it, huh?
Mm-hmm. It's time to exploit its oil, of which it has a decent amount. Oh, I need the supply to catch up. Ugh, there's not even a lot of supply to begin with. The supply here is terrible. I need a fucking infrastructure network first.
Okay, now are they gonna move it? There we go.
Woo! Siam has been eliminated, and you just got all their population and everything. Huzzah! Huzzah! Huzzah!
Hiya! Now I just need to wait for the supply to catch up. But just by taking it, I'm already at a positive production for fucking rubber. I don't even need to build anything.
Nice. This whole place is going to take up more fucking rails than like anything else I have just to connect everything. But I'm going to fucking do it. I'm going to make this a functioning fucking colony of some kind.
Hey, knock yourself out.
There. Every town in it is going to be connected.
And I am telling all my guys to come home. Y'all's job is done.
You also got their military fabs, which they did have some. They had at least one land production. Also remember you can get rid of your garrisons now.
Put that back up the fastest.
Woo! I'm on speed! Plop down more industrial goods production. You never fucking have enough. Build 7 more factories, why not? While I'm consuming an excessive amount building these railroads. Take a look at my rail line in Libya. Looks good, right?
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely help with the supply.
Yep. I'm gonna get rid of some of these seapiers and just put a fucking military base with a seaport instead. I could probably put one on either side, quite frankly. It's gonna cost me more overall to do that, but that's okay. Put them at like the fucking far ends too. With that logic, I should just put one in the middle too, right?
Might as well.
Might as well. I'll just leave one on each side for now. That should be good enough. But with that all built, supply will flow and I can start building more oil gas fields all over the place. Some of it might take a long time to build just because there won't be supply to build it. But I have plenty of oil in this area. A good amount. And if I ever need more, there's a tiny amount more in Italian Somaliland. My pop went up too because this had another like 5 mil pop or something.
I pretty much did the same thing with the southern half of Siam.
Let's take a look. It's hard to see on that color. Jesus fuck. Yeah. Except you don't have to build nearly as much. Still got that whole north part unconnected though.
Yes. I'll worry about that later.
Luxembourg and
all
Belgium.
all the rubber is down south, so I want to hurry up and spread that supply real fast.
Wow, the price of oil has really gone up since the start. I can't believe I can get away with importing as much industry goods as I am. How is there even a supply for this anywhere? Really, like I don't get it. I'm gonna start building oil gas fields literally as soon as I can. And yeah, you're the top importer. You are the top importer. Now I can build an oil empire. God, Ethiopia has fucking nothing but like coal. I have my first civilian cargo. Just researched my first new patrol ship this whole game. I think it's a good improvement over a lot of my other ones. I shall exclude those and make that the new inn. Damn, my production of industry goods is getting pretty high up there. I'm number 3 for total industry goods production. I'm number 3. I passed Great Britain. What the fuck? That's awesome.
How many factories do you have?
68.
Oh,
some of them are not on loyal territory because I haven't dismantled a single industrial goods factory that I've acquired if it's full-sized. I just keep building more. Because if I have industry goods, I can have anything. I just need electricity, oil, coal, and metal ore to fund it. And I have all this stuff. I can support more, like, of a lot of things than I am right now. I'm just kind of gradually expanding. I have the money, because my GDP per capita is so high, I have the money to build a lot of shit. My inflation has settled down, so, well, I've been building so much right now, it's back up to 8.6, but, you know, that aside. My seaports are finishing. That will help push supply into Libya from each end, which will help get everything done. Yep. I finished my seaports down here. My ships were really happy about that. They just immediately were like, oh, hey, look, we got a place to go, like, repair. Some of them were straight up refusing to move until I did this, actually. I guess that was a good idea.
I guess we're just gonna go, what, straight into World War II?
It's only 1919. We got a while to go, man.
Yeah, Yeah, it's going to be an interesting.
We've gone through 5 years because we started in late 1914. It's been 5 years so far. World War II, as of, the year change, is another 19 years away? I don't know. Look how much progress we've made already, in fact.
Very true.
We've made a lot of progress. I mean, it's going pretty nice. I need more fucking research centers, I'll tell you that much. I really need more. It's gonna be a while until I get another one, so I might as well finally start building another one. I'm gonna build one in Libya. That's smart. I'm gonna build one just in the fucking, middle of Libya. My first research center that I'm actually building myself. But I can afford to. I can afford to build this shit now. I'm amazed. My base usage of industrial goods when I'm not building a fuck ton of shit is actually a lot lower than my production. So when I'm exporting, I'm producing a lot of the world's supply of industry goods. So I need to, at some point, just focus on making raw resources like oil.
Yeah, I need to shift my focus towards industrial goods.
Because again, I'm already number 3. I'm the number 3 producer in the world. Now, to be fair, I only produce half of number 2 and 1/3 of number 3. But to be number 3 is still a big deal. I'm number 4 producer of military goods already. I did not realize that. Some days I'm number 2, actually. Because everyone else is building a variable amount. They're probably not making as much as they could. In that case, I probably want to get slightly more than what Japan has, to be safe.
I'm like number 8.
I'm gonna build 2 more military goods factories. The fact that I have so much money, I'm just using it to pump out all these goods so that I don't even need a positive production. I can just survive off of my stockpile. That's my goal. I just want to have such a high stockpile that I can just survive off of it. I also want it to be self-sufficient, but I'm not focusing it, right? I've been focusing industry goods and all this other crap.
Yeah.
My inflation's up to 9.3 to give you an indication of how much I've been building.
Yeah, I got you beat. I'm at 9.8.
Greed integrity back up to 62. What's my baseline? Apparently my baseline war justification didn't really go up with that annexation, so that's good. Because France is down to 27%. It's almost back down to how it was before. Spain's down to 24%. Nice. Who's your next war target after this?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Iran. Now that I've procured my resources, I can keep going further into the Middle East.
I'll give you another 11 mil population. You get 1 more land production. You get access to all that oil and uranium if we actually get up to the point of needing it. We have a good coal strip. It's not a bad place. And then you can you get to Afghanistan and you're done over here,
Pretty much.
You're done because of colonies. Oh, I see you sailed some patrol boats a little too far. Check around India. You want to get a civilian.
Yeah, I see.
Get a civilian cargo out there.
Alright, well, I can't build one at the minute, but they'll just have to stay stuck there for the time being.
Inflation's down to 8.3 already, once, all this shit finished building that I've been building. Let's get more fucking oil gas fields. I'm almost self-sufficient, so... I'm building out in this one region in the west where there's just no supply at all, just to test where I can get stuff, and then letting the industrial complexes I build move supply further into the desert to allow me to build more.
God, world market is still poor. That's bad.
Or on what?
Oh, rubber. I mean, not that I care anymore, but
And I'm selling rubber too. That's the funniest thing.
So am I, and it's still poor.
Wow, that's a problem, yeah. There must be less rubber being made in general right now. Not a lot of places can even make it. You're the second top producer already, just behind the Malay states. Already. Think about that. I'm number 5, but I've exploited all the rubber I have. Alright, so I'm building a fuck ton of oil. I don't even remember what we did because it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm trying to...
I know, I'm making a research center and a bunch of oil. I think I had basically recently annexed Libya. I'd set up a bunch of rails in it and started setting up oil everywhere. Oh, this is a good time. So I remembered some things about how the game works while looking through the manual the other day that I want to tell you because they're important. One important thing that I clearly forgot about and still don't really give a lot of care about is your domestic approval rating. So you know how when you have territory that is not loyal to you, there's a penalty?
Yeah.
I, for some reason, converted in my head to thinking that the penalty was like a set amount, 30%, for example. It is not. It actually scales based on your domestic approval rating. And if you can actually get that rating all the way up to like 60%, you no longer have any penalty.
Oh.
Now, that is very hard to do. The highest domestic approval rating in the entire world right now is 41%. It's especially harder to do in World War I because all the texts that make people happy come later.
Yeah. But basically, yeah, what you're saying is the more your domestic approval rating goes up, the lower the penalty.
Yeah, pretty much. Another thing that I forgot about. I'm going to go with two more things I forgot about that the manual reminded me of. Number one, your production on a hex is not just based on loyalty, it's also based on supply. The more supply you have on any hex with any kind of production, the more of its max value it produces. So, for example, if you have oil wells in the middle of a desert with like nothing there, or a power plant on a little tiny village with barely any supply, that's actually going to hurt the amount of product coming out of that factory.
So to generate supply down towards it, connect it via rail or...
Connect via rails to spread supply, yeah, but at supply sources like villages and industrial complexes, you need a stronger supply nearby to fix it, to like make it better, because the way supply works in this game is if you have two villages right next to each other, and there's two villages, or two hexes in between the village, the supply is not based on, the supply from both villages is spreading into it and adding together. It takes whichever supply source has the strongest spread to that hex, and then the other one just doesn't count.
Okay, so for example, right here, I have a town that supplies 30%, but then just to the north of that, I got two oil rigs, but their supply is only 8 each. So their supply is extremely low.
Yeah.
So what would I do to increase the supply on that? Like what? Like build a military base or something?
If you have room, obviously adding things that produce supply onto the hex would help, such as if there's room, you can add supply depots, you can add an air base that produces supply, there's seaports, of course. Otherwise, the best thing you can do is make a literal supply hub, a hex that has max supply, and then connect that hex by rail or road to infrastructure in the region as a hub. So, for example, an air base, a seaport, if it's closer inland, an air base with some supply depots, or a city that already produces a lot of supply combined with supply depots, and that will spread further, even overlap some villages you have if they're not producing enough supply.
Okay, good to know.
But the thing is, to optimize your performance like that is easier when you're not trying to spread it over a giant desert.
Like I have the my supply hub, just like you said, like an air base, and build like an air base and some supply depots and things like that.
Yeah, there's a max value. Like the military complex produces some by itself. I think an air base, a military complex, and 1 or 2 supply depots is enough to max out supply on a hex. There's an actual like formula to it. Like everything has a value, like a decimal point value, and it adds up to 1. 1 being the fullest supply a hex can get, and then connecting that hex to other things gives a better supply situation. Of course, industrial complexes produce supply of their own. They produce like 0.1 out of 1. If they're next to large cities and military complexes that have a lot of supply around them, then you'll see they'll have a lot. Whereas if you look in like, Libya, I have this oil field, and the closer it is to the north where all my villages are and a lot of supply, where I set up a seaport and a military complex as well, the higher supply that they have, because the rails are carrying supply to them. Even if they're not directly touching, it carries supply into the area and spreads from there. And the further south you go, the more you'll notice there's less and less supply there. Something to keep in mind if you want to optimize your production
but it does have a cost of its own. Was that all three things, or was that just two? Did I get stuck on the second thing? I don't remember it right now. I might remember it later. Great Britain and Denmark just made an alliance. I remember earlier I was like, I don't know if I should go for Denmark as an ally. I see, I wonder if I did go for Denmark as an ally, if that would have made a difference. I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not. Who knows? I want to know why the event for Soviet Russia is still there when Tsarist Russia wasn't in turmoil due to World War I. Yeah, I wonder if we reach 1936 if Germany will become fascist.
Probably, if it's scripted.
Maybe, because I'm not sure, because, well, World War I is a standalone scenario, right? It's sold as its own standalone DLC, which can be played by itself. So I'm not sure if they necessarily keep all the other events in there in the SRU version of it. I do know in World War II, all the Cold War events are locked and loaded. They just may not have their conditions met to even happen. But I don't know about World War I going into World War II. Either way, hopefully this doesn't go into World War II. Jesus Christ. Oh, I remembered the one other thing I wanted to say. You know how you can't produce anything on those pesky hexes that don't have any supply?
Yeah.
I remembered you can. I had forgotten how, and I remembered while editing the footage and me reteaching you about engineers. Well, if you put an engineer on a hex, then it can actually build a complex, like an industrial or military complex, on any hex it's on or surrounding, whether there's supply there or not.
So all you gotta do is just put an engineer there and then that'll enable you to build?
Yes. I'll probably connect a lot of these oil places in Libya to a rail line just to help with supply spread, I think. Usually I don't connect industrial complexes to rails, but in Libya, with my refound knowledge, I feel like it could potentially be helpful in some instances, like where there's just no sources of supply at all. You look in Western Libya, you can see my weird little rail thing that I'm making to support the oil over here. Very strange, but
What the fuck?
yeah, it's connecting every oil hex that's over there, basically. There's a lot more oil hexes to the east, but I have very good supply production in the west and the east because of my seaports that I placed. But in the center, near the biggest, densest bit of oil I have there, I actually don't have supply very much because I didn't build a seaport over there. I was going to, but I opted not to. I imagine the supply would actually carry pretty well between the two seaports, and it does carry enough on the rail. Not a whole lot, though, so I think I am going to build a seaport over there in order to support the supply in that region, because I can get a lot of oil from that region.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same with me. I have a bunch of oil that's just out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere with no supply on it.
At least this part is by the ocean.
To it. Yeah.
Luckily, you have a lot of stuff by the ocean in Saudi Arabia and Iraq. So changing a sea pier to a seaport around there, and then maybe throwing an air base down or some supply stuff as well, that would help. Japan still has the largest deployed military because of garrisons, and Germany the most after that. Most military production still goes to Germany. I haven't checked so far today. Are they making more? So currently they're not. They're making like resources and research. Now that I've done talking for so long, let me actually place some fucking oil wells like I was gonna. I couldn't place them in the west, that was my problem, because there wasn't any fucking supply there. But with this seaport being made, I guess I might as well place some in the eastern part of Libya. I don't know how many to place, so I'm just placing 10. Which is more than I've ever placed at once, but I have 6.4 inflate, well 5. It was 6.2, it's now 6.5 like immediately. This is a good way to test what my economy's capable of. Oh boy, I've unlocked a whole bunch of new subs that I could potentially make. Okay, let's figure this out. I'm gonna get rid of all the ones that have a shorter range. They all have the same attack though, and roughly the same defense. Well, I know which one I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna research this Balila class. It's a little more expensive, but it moves really far and really fast compared to everything else. That'll be a good sub. I'm approaching like 30s subs. There are so many more ships that I can research. Oh my god. I'm gonna get the Mistral. escort vessel and get rid of everything else. Well, actually, the Douro might be good as well. Let me compare. Ah, its range is terrible. No. Its ability to, like, shoot stuff. Yeah, I'll pass on that. Patrol ships! Patrol ships! Oh my god, I've never seen the sloop gunboat have, like, a 4-star rating. That's the weirdest fucking thing. Well, I know what patrol ship I'm gonna get. The Sella class. Because it has ASW capabilities. Makes it an easy choice.
I'll take that sub design from you.
Stop taking my stuff!
I don't have enough to research my own, man.
Stop taking my shit! It's mine!
It's ours. What's yours is mine.
No! This is Russia! No! So my inflation's
Sorry,
only at
okay.
6.7%, even while building a fuck ton of oil.
Well, mine's at 10.4. I'm winning game over. I win.
Holy crap, I forgot that the market price of oil had gotten so high. It's 17 bucks for me. And industrial goods is still, of course, going to be a constant issue. I have 71 industrial goods factories, for fuck's sake. And it's not enough. But the world's not at war, so I am still capable of importing a massive amount of this shit. It just costs a lot of money.
Damn this inflation.
Yeah, my economy's nice and settled in at this point. It had massive inflation from the start, and now it's pretty good. I can pretty much do whatever I want with it. My GDP per capita is not the highest, but it's among the highest anyway. The US and other places have so much inflation that their GDP per capita has gotten like 3 times higher than mine. But I'm still ranking among the top. Although, with places like that having so much GDP per capita, this disparity makes me a more in the middle tier country where I can get a good bit from tax income, but I can still sell to all of these nations that are above me with ease. And the nations that are above me, like the US, these are hyper-consuming nations. It's actually a pretty good position to be in, assuming I don't start running into monetary issues. I'm hoping to establish industry goods production independence. But I'll actually sell it this time because I don't have to cut you off from it. Don't worry, when we get to the Cold War, this won't even be a problem. Because,
I know.
they compact 10 factories into one.
Yeah, I'm trying to get what is it, the fucking industrial goods? I'm trying to get my own, like, surplus on that, too. It's gonna be a while, but, you know, little by little.
This doesn't happen in the later scenarios. And as the US and Soviet Russia, you actually start out with a good bit of, like, everything. Especially military goods. Oh my god. Military goods aren't even a problem as the US and Soviets. Although, I am aware of some scripts that affect the Soviets and the Chinese in the beginning of the game with their military goods. And so when we do that PvP, I already have an offer in my head for you.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You would, though.
Dude, I've strategized all of the 50s already. Basically, the script that I'm aware of is that in the Cold War, the Soviets and the Chinese have scripts that force them to transfer military goods to North Vietnam. And I'm aware that the scripts are excessive and basically leave them both without much military goods for themselves for the first month or 2 of the game. But also just take a lot of their product and just give it to another country. So, probably going to make you a proposal about trading, let's say, the fate of Korea for the fate of Vietnam. Because I'm pretty sure I could project myself enough to just destroy Vietnam, but that would just waste so much of the resources that you're going to be forced to give. You could easily project yourself to destroy South Korea. So I figure why not trade?
But you have Korea, I'll have Vietnam.
Yeah. Kind of a quote-unquote
I'll ponder on that.
Like a demilitarized zone. Like one side no-go here, one side no-go here for a limited period of time.
I'll ponder on that.
Yeah, you could think about that.
I also don't want U.S. and Korean forces right on my fucking border.
Well, I mean, South Korea is not strong. North Vietnam, I've seen North Vietnam play, and their guerrillas are really good in their jungles if you don't know how to fight them. I do know how to fight them. I tried very hard to teach Dema how to fight them. He kind of learned. I'm thinking it's right about to be a pretty good time to invade Bulgaria or Serbia. And I'm thinking Serbia, actually.
If you take Serbia, I can take Bulgaria, maybe.
Do you want to?
Well, at least our borders would be neck and neck.
I have full justification against Bulgaria already. I've just been pacing myself.
I have no justification towards them at all.
I have full for. I could declare war back to back on these two. You want to get any of your troops some combat experience in Serbia?
Sure, let me mobilize some and send them over to you.
Any that you don't
That's
plan
actually
on
not a bad idea.
deconning? I'll have 60 elite guard that I'm going to send up the southern border. I'll have more of a defensive force over in the west, but probably will send reinforcements from the west after the start. I mean, I could just start from Austria. I could send a big force into Austria-Hungary's territory and just go right on the capital.
Shit, do you even have a port where I can land these guys at, or?
Yeah, I have several. I have one down by Athens. I have one in the west of Albania. I have another one on the west of Montenegro. Oh, nice. We're about to commit war crimes. It's a lot of chemical howitzers.
Yes.
Nice.
I think I'm actually going to go for Romania.
Oh, you...
I'll create a buffer between you and the Soviets.
Do you want Bulgaria then? So that it connects you to Romania?
Well, if you wouldn't mind, I mean...
Yeah, I was just going to invade them because I already have like 74% justification. But if you want Romania, you can have Bulgaria.
Okay. Let me start getting justification on Bulgaria.
All right. Yeah, you do that. I think I should start ticking off France. Think that'd be funny? Maybe they'll attack me kind of thing, you know?
Maybe.
I mean, my military's growing faster than theirs, I know that. I think I'll start ticking them off. I think that would be funny. It'd be really useful if they actually attacked me. And I think I could take them.